right, it's Friday. It means it's time for Michael Smerconish, CNN political commentator, host of CNN Smerconish. Michael, always wonderful to see you.
Thank you, Casey. Merry Christmas and happy holidays if I don't see you again between now and the big days next week. Thank you so much for all the appearances this year as well.
We've loved having you. Merry Christmas, happy holidays to you as well. As we sort of outlined there, one person who seems to be on already maybe heading out on vacation is President Biden. I mean, you heard the tone there. You haven't seen very much of him out in public here. Instead, the focus really on the president-elect, even though he's not president yet. What do you make of it all?
Well, that and couple it with the fact that just within the last 48 hours, you've had these two really significant stories, one from the Wall Street Journal, a 4-person byline, the other from the New York Times on the front page of yesterday's print edition, talking about the frailties that he has exhibited the entire time that he's been in office, including this line on the front page of the Times yesterday. It's hard to imagine that he seriously thought that he could do the world's most stressful job for another 4 years. Now, I should point out that there's no bombshell. There's no one anecdote, at least to my eye, in the Times or in the Wall Street Journal, where you read it and you say, my God, why didn't someone say something then? But collectively, they tell the story of, frankly, an 82-year-old exhibiting the frailties of an 82-year-old. But I think that it is a reflective moment for all of us, including the media, to say, why are the stories appearing now? And how much of this, frankly, could have been written before now? And what would have happened if the debate moment hadn't occurred? He'd stayed in and he'd won the election. Like, where would we be today? A little painful, a little uncomfortable, especially to raise at the end of his term and during the holidays. But I think it's a worthy conversation.
Michael, what do you think and how do you think voters take in this, what we're learning now here, and how angry do you think they feel about seemingly being deceived during this period?
So, anecdotally, based on the telephone callers to my program both yesterday, and I'll cover this subject again today, given the Wall Street Journal reporting, and if I look at the comments that are appended to each of these stories, there is a lot of "I told you so," maybe from partisans, and a lot of people who voiced the complaint that the media was in the know and covered for him because of their dislike of Donald Trump. They were willing to look the other way, hoping that Biden, in whatever capacity he might be, would nevertheless beat Donald Trump. That's a perception held not by all, but by a significant number, I think, of Americans.
Well, and you saw it really in the polling as well, that people really didn't think he was up to it well before we saw him take that debate stage in Atlanta. Michael, while I have you, I do really want to ask you about what we're seeing going on Capitol Hill, particularly the dynamic between Donald Trump and Elon Musk here, because we covered this yesterday. Watching those tweets come out from Musk as they were trying to pass this on the Hill on Wednesday reminded me very strongly of what used to happen when Donald Trump was in office the first time around, and it would send things, skidding out on Capitol Hill all the time, except this time the person who caused that to happen, it wasn't Donald Trump, it was Elon Musk. And Trump came in kind of late and said, yeah, actually, I do agree with this. Now, Speaker Johnson was waiting for him before formally pulling the bill, but the ship had already sailed by the time Trump weighed in. How do you think that's going to impact the Trump-Musk dynamic, if at all?
I don't get this. Donald Trump has been on cruise control, right? He wins a majority of the vote, both houses of Congress. Tech titans are coming to kiss the ring in Mar-a-Lago. World leaders are seeking to curry favor. He goes to France to be with Macron. Like, why this unforced error at the end of the year when things are looking so rosy for him and people, I think, are largely willing to give him a fresh slate for a second term, and to be so at odds with what had been sort of a core principle of conservatism in Republican politics, which is control the spending. And now he's on the side of seeking to do what? Raise the debt ceiling? For what purpose? The only thing, and I'm not expert in these matters, the only thing that I can imagine is because they want to ease the ability for a tax cut on his watch, and they need the debt ceiling gone in order to make that a reality. I can't do better with any other speculation.
Briefly, who do you think takes the blame if the government shuts down over the holidays? Republicans, Democrats?
It's going to remind me of the bipartisan effort for border control where Trump torpedoed it and then everybody pointed fingers at one another. But if this deal doesn't go through, I don't know how you come to any conclusion other than it was the Republicans, including Trump and Elon Musk, who thwarted it. That would be my conclusion.
All right. Michael Smerconish, always grateful to have you. As you said, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Can't wait to see you in the new year. For our viewers, remember, tune in to Smerconish tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, right here on CNN.